Okay, we're here today to talk about the law of, okay? And the thing to understand is almost everything that we've done so far on trigonometry has always been a right triangle, okay? It's always been a right triangle. And so if we have a right triangle, what is the word that comes to mind? Starts with an S.
Sine?
SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA, okay? And you solve almost all of your triangles using SOHCAHTOA. That and the Pythagorean theorem. So pretty much anything that is thrown at you that's a right triangle you can handle with SOHCAHTOA. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. And tangent TOA is opposite over adjacent, right? If you take that and a squared plus b squared equals c squared, you can do just about anything that you want with a right triangle. But you have to understand that all triangles are not right triangles, okay? And that generates a challenge because you get in such a habit doing a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and you get in such a habit of doing SOHCAHTOA, you hit a triangle that is not a right triangle, and you apply those rules, and you get what kind of answer? Wrong answer. So here is a triangle that is a general triangle. It is not a right triangle. So the first thing is there could be one like this, and then there could also be one, let's say, that would be like this. You can see that this is that one angle is greater than 90, and you can also have it less than 90, and you get kind of two different looking triangles that are not right triangles. The thing is, first thing that we've got to do is we have to make sure that we label things right. So we use, typically the standard is you use capital letters for angles, and so this would be angle A, this would be angle B, and this would be angle C. On this one we could say that this is angle A, angle B, and angle C. So those are angles. They could be degrees, they could be radians. Now we've got to label the sides. If this angle is big angle A, what do we make this side?
Little angle A. Well,
no, little side A, okay? And this is little side C and little side B. So you label the sides, and that's a length, in little letters corresponding to the opposite side of the angle that they go with. And if you just do this, everything will work out a lot better because you've got to have a standard way of doing it. All right, and this is kind of the standard. So on this one, this side would be
little c,
little
a,
and little
b.
Okay, so that's how we label things. All right, and this is generally how you solve these triangles when you don't have a right triangle. The thing to understand is the law of sines allows you to solve triangles where you have an angle, and a side. So that would be like I have this angle, I have this angle, and I have a side, or I have a side, and an angle. Okay, those are the two that it works for. Remember, the one that's always hard is the angle side. If you have an angle and two sides, that is really hard, and that's the tedious thing. But we're looking at angle side or side angle. And these you can solve either one of these pretty straightforwardly. This is what the law of sine is. You can say sine of the angle A divided by side A is equal to sine of angle B over side B, which is equal to sine of angle C over side C. And then you just look at what they give you, and if they give you like if they give you an angle side, you could solve for the what?
For the side of A.
The other side, right? Or if they gave you side angle, you could solve for what?
Angle.
The angle. And then if they gave you this angle, and you've got to work over here, how would you get this? You could still get that other angle, right? How?
Because all angles add together.
Add to 180. So then if you have, like if you had this one, and this one, you could still figure out this angle, and then you could figure out that C. So it's just a game that if you write this down, if they give you side angle or angle side, you can always then figure everything out. Okay, and always I want your answers like this. This is back to always giving me all the answers. that if you're going to solve this, they're going to give you certain things, but how many things should you report? How many answers do you have?
6.
6. Okay. What's the good news? You might get 3 for free, right? So you're going to get 3 of them, but always go like this. Little a, little b, little c, big A, big B, big C. Okay. And always put those in your answer sheet in that order. Yes. How many answers per box?
1.
1 answer per box. Okay. How many boxes per question?
6.
6. Okay. So let's work one of these. All right. Let's work an example. So here is a triangle like this. I'm going to tell you that this is 102 degrees. I'm going to tell you that this is 29 degrees. Okay. And I'm going to tell you that this is 28 feet. So we need to, first of all, like I've given you some stuff, but what's the first thing I need to do before I do anything else?
Label.
Yeah, let's label it. And it doesn't really matter, you just got to be consistent. So I'm going to call this A, and I'm going to call this B, and I'm going to call this C. So what is this equal to?
C.
This is little c, this is,
Little A.
and this is what?
Little B.
Oh, look. Before I go on, I should probably write down my freebies, right? What is my freebie?
Little B.
Little b
Yeah.
is
28.
28 degrees. Okay, what's another? Oh, yeah, or 28 feet. I'm sorry, 28 feet. What's another freebie?
Big B
Big B is
is 29 degrees.
29 degrees. Okay, what's another freebie?
Big C is 120.
Big C is 102.
Oh.
Yes, our little dyslexia is coming out there. That's okay. And then, what is almost a freebie?
A.
A. What would that be? Well, if I have 29 and 102, that plus A has to be 180. So it'd be 180 minus 29 minus 102. Who has a calculator handy? This is an excellent use of a calculator instead of trying to do it in my head.
49.
Okay, it's 49. So that one was almost free, right? Okay. Now, what do I have to figure out?
Little A and little C.
Yeah, little a and little c. Well, let's write these things down again so that we remember what the law of signs is. Remember, it's sine of big A over A is equal to sine of big B over little b is equal to sine of big C over little c. You know what? You can also turn this upside down and it's also true. So you could have little a over sine of A is equal to little b over sine of B, big B, is equal to C over sine of big C. Okay, you just turn it upside down and it's still true. Now tell me what we need to solve for. Little a, right? Well, if I did little a, what would you write down? Like if you look up here, what would be, like you could use any of this, but you want to kind of figure out an equal where you would have 3 of the 4 things. Like
Use B.
what?
B.
Use B, right?
Yes.
And do I know A, big A?
Yes.
Do I know big B?
Yes.
Do I know little b?
Yes.
Yeah, so what would I write down? A,
It's going to be A over sine of 49.
okay, let's just write this down first. You're filling it in, but just tell me what it is before you fill it in.
So A over sine of A equals B over sine of B.
Yeah, it stopped there, right? Okay, now let's put the numbers in. What are we trying to solve for? A? Okay, so what would A be equal to? What would I do to both sides?
Multiply by sine of A.
Yeah, so it would be B sine of A over sine of B. And I got there just by multiplying both sides by sine of A. Okay, sine of big A. Now what's the good news? A is going to be equal to, do I know B?
Yes.
What is it?
B is 28
28 times
sine of 49.
sine of 49 over
sine of 29.
Sine of 29. Okay. Now, to get the right answer, it would be an excellent thing to use your calculator and make sure the number one way you're going to miss this problem is have your calculator in what? Radians, because we go back and forth. Check it in degrees, and then what do you get when you type this in? Put it in your calculator.
43.59.
Let's say 43.6, just to kind of make it easy. 43.6. Okay, now what do I need to figure out now?
C.
C.
Little
Okay.
c.
Little c. Okay, Catherine, tell me what you would write down to figure out little c.
I would write b over sine of b equals c over sine of c.
B over sine of b is equal to c over sine of c. Okay, you just pick the little part out of this that you need. You don't have to use the whole thing, right? And so now, what would c be? Emmy, how would you do that? Get c by itself.
C would be equal to b times sine of c over b over sine of b.
Sine of b. Okay, because what did you do to both sides? You multiplied both sides by sine of c, and then you're left with c by itself. So c is equal to what, Ben?
C is equal to 28
28
times sine of 102
sine of 102 over
sine of 29.
sine of 29. Okay, so somebody put that in the calculator and tell me what you get.
$56.5.
56.5. We are what?
Done.
We are done. Little a, little b, little c, big A, big B, big C. Is this easy or is this hard?
Easy.
Okay, now this is the thing. What you got to see is if you get a word problem, what do?
You have to look.
What?
You have to look for the information you need.
First of all, you panic.
No.
Then you run from the room crying like a little child. Okay, no, you don't. First thing you do is what?
You go through the information and decide what you need.
Yeah, well, and you said it earlier. You draw a
Picture.
Okay. After you draw a picture, you
Fill in the information you have.
label the picture, right? And that's what you're saying. I'm just trying to give it clearer wording. You were thinking it. You label the picture. Okay. Then you figure out what you have and what you need. And the stuff you need, you figure out, right? So let's say a pole tilts towards the sun at an angle of 8 degrees from vertical. Okay. So a pole tilts towards the sun 8 degrees from vertical. So what is the first thing that I should draw?
A pole.
Yeah.
Towards the sun.
Okay. And is the pole straight up? No, the pole is like that. Okay. So a pole tilts towards the sun at an angle of 8 degrees from vertical. Okay. It casts a 22-foot shadow. So what should I draw?
A shadow.
Okay. And what should I do?
Label it 22 feet.
22 feet. Okay. And then
Well,
I should.
something else we know is it says it's 8 degrees over
Yes.
the vertical, so that'd be 98 degrees.
Yes. So since you could almost kind of think of it like this, that if this is 8, then overall this is what? 98. Okay? And then you could even kind of put the sun out here to kind of help you. Okay? But you turn the pole. Now, what is it that it's asked me for? How long is the pole? So I'm really trying to calculate what? That one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now let's think. I should probably label these things. Like, what are we going to label this? How about A? And then this is what? Big B. And this is what?
C.
Big C. Okay. And now this is the one that I want, which is little b. All right. Now, let's think here. I got 22 feet, so I have a, oh, let's see, the other thing it tells me is the angle of elevation from the tip of the shadow is 43 degrees. And so if you are out here at the tip of the shadow and you look up, it's how far?
43 degrees.
Okay, so we get 43.
So then we can figure out what C is.
Yes, we can figure out what C is. Let's go ahead and do that. I don't know if we need it or not, but let's just go ahead and do that. And that way we have it if we need it. So that would be what? How would I calculate big C?
You would take 180 minus 98 and then subtract 43.
Right, and I'll just go ahead and tell you that that's 39 when you put that in the calculator. Another good, wonderful place to use your calculator. Okay, now tell me what you would write here. Like, what would be a good way to write this? What am I looking for? B? Okay. So how would you write this?
So,
Like,
well, you have C.
uh-huh.
So you could do B over sine of big B equals C over sine of big C.
C over sine of big C. Okay. So then, let's see. And then C, okay, so now let's put the numbers in. So, or let's solve for B, right? So B is equal to C.
Times sine of big B
Uh-huh.
over sine of big C.
Okay. So then B is equal to, what is C?
C is 22
22 sine
of 39.
of 39 over,
Oh, wait, no, it's sine of 43 over sine of 39.
sine of 43 over sine of 39. Okay? So, B is 22 times sine of 43 divided by sine of 39. You guys pay attention. That's not sine of 43 divided by 39, right? You can't do that. It's sine of 43 divided by sine of 39. Don't do a shorthand there because it'll be wrong. Okay, what do you get?
It's 23.8.
Yes, the pole is 23.84. Okay, and so what you have to do is you have to just, when you get a word problem, draw a picture and label it. But your tendency is to panic. Just realize, would they give you the problem if it were not solvable?
No.
No. So you got to know, it's solvable. I got to draw a picture, I got to label it, and then I got to figure out which equation to use. Okay, the homework is Chapter 6, Section 1. We're going to do homework 5 through 17, and the bonus is 48. Look forward to seeing you guys. We'll talk to you later.